The ARRB deposed both FBI agents present at President Kennedy's autopsy, James Seibert and Francis O'Neill, and both of these agents, under oath, impugned and disowned the autopsy images of JFK's head, showing the back of his head to apparently be intact. FBI agent Jim Seibert's ARRB wound diagram is particularly damning because it is at such odds with the intact back of the head autopsy photos. Even Dr. Grossman from Parkland, who supports the Warren Commission, when shown the iDocs tracing of that photograph published by the HSCA, said, quote, "That's completely incorrect," unquote. Wound diagrams executed for the ARRB staff in 1997 by 3 medical witnesses missed by the Warren Commission and the HSCA, Nurse Audrey Bell, Dr. Charles Crenshaw, and Dr. Robert Grossman, confirmed in a powerful visual way what the Parkland medical staff had written in 1963 and testified to in 1964, namely that JFK had a hole in the right rear of his skull when treated in Dallas. Nurse Bell and Dr. Crenshaw were of the opinion that the wound they recalled was an exit wound, and furthermore stated that they saw no damage to the top or right side of JFK's head, as is seen in the autopsy photographs in the official collection. While Dr. Grossman decided to characterize the wound he recalled in the rear of the head as an entrance, and to support the Warren Commission in the way he characterized that wound, nevertheless, the wound he drew was in the same location as the wound sketched by Bell and Crenshaw. It was a hole in the right rear quadrant of the skull.
But just in my mind, and by the direction of the blood and brain from the president from one of the shots, it would just seem that it would have to be fired from the front rather than behind.
Dr. Robert McClelland saw the wounds firsthand at Parkland Hospital in Dallas.
The wounds are consistent, I think, not with the bullet having been fired from the 6th floor of the depository building from behind the president, but from somewhere around the grassy knoll or the triple underpass, somewhere in the front. Seeing that Zapruder film and noting the way the president was thrown backward violently to the left, and having seen that wound, I thought to myself, there's no way that that could have come from the 6th floor behind him.
One of the most dramatic moments was when the 2 FBI agents at the autopsy looked at the controversial back of the head photos of President Kennedy, which seemingly show the back of the head to be intact. And both Agent Frank O'Neill and former Agent Jim Seibert, Jim Seibert and Frank O'Neill, they both said the images of the back of the head that show the back of the head to be intact were completely wrong and did not look like anything they saw at the autopsy. And they both reaffirmed that they saw a large head wound in the right rear of the skull. So that was significant testimony because these guys were trained observers, and furthermore, they weren't wild-eyed conspiracy theorists, okay? These guys were J. Edgar Hoover loyalists. They both wanted to believe that Oswald had killed the president, and yet when we showed them these back-of-the-head photos, they said, no, that's not the way it looked, and they never saw anything like that night.
All of the brain matter went out the back of the head. It was like a red halo, but the back of his head blew off.